Hey guys, it's Appleminte and welcome back to my channel. So as you guys know, I've done quite a few comparison videos on my channel. Personally, they are one of my favorite things to do just because I like to see the differences between more expensive and more affordable art supply brands. And so today is no exception. Today I will be reviewing the Arteza markers. They are the Everblend markers, I think that's what they're called, and I will be testing them against my Copic markers. There are a lot of alcohol marker brands on the market now, and it's hard to know what to choose or which ones are good. So I hope for this video to be helpful to you guys who are looking for a more affordable brand and don't want to put in all the money for Copic markers because they are an investment, and you just want to have a first collection of some nice alcohol markers. So that's what this video will be about. I also want to note again real quick, just a reminder, there's 1 week left to join my PokePals enamel pin Kickstarter. It is going really well. There are only 4 more designs to unlock, so if you can, please help share the project or even pledge if you would like to take part in it and receive 1 or more of the pins included. So Arteza has sent these markers to me. I am excited to test them out. Like I said, for today's video, I want to do something in celebration of mermaid. I want to make a mermaid. So let us begin unboxing. So here is the pack of markers. Now I really like how they gave a complimentary marker bag with this. You can also order the bag on their site separately as far as I can understand, but I really like that it comes with the case and all the markers already inside. Let's just get this open. So as you can see, we have all 60 colors in here. Something I noticed right off the bat is that there seem to be a lot of mid-tones, and when I say that I mean there are a lot of colors that are just sort of in the middle. So not too many things that are really light and not too many things that are really dark. But yeah, at a first glance, I do like the colors provided. You know, they provide a little bit of each color, which I appreciate. So I'm excited to test these out. Another thing I want to point out is the shape of the barrel. These are triangular, which is pretty interesting. So they're not going to roll, which I can appreciate, unless, I mean, obviously, unless you do that. So they are double-ended. They've got a bullet nib and a chisel nib on the other side. Pretty standard barrel size. I have to actually see how much ink they hold. But, and the last thing I will say is, if you're somebody who likes to put your caps on the back of your markers, these will not do that. So, I mean, I guess you could kind of stick it on crooked like that and it'll kind of stay, but for the most part, you can't stick that on the back. But these are all just minor little things that I'm pointing out about the design of the marker itself, which in the end don't really matter at all. So let's see how they work. So I'm just gonna swatch a few of the colors because it would take quite a bit of the video to go through all of them, so I'm going to just choose a few. So when swatching the markers, what I usually look for is just the consistency of the ink. You know, when it's my first impressions, obviously I haven't gotten so much experience with the markers yet. You really need to do a full piece of artwork for that. The consistency of this ink is pretty good. I mean, when I say consistency, I mean, is it streaky? Which, no, this is not streaky. Or, you know, is the graininess of the paper showing through the marker color a lot? And again, no, this did not do that. I will go more into depth about all of the saturation of the ink and everything like that later. And real quick here, you'll see me just doing a small blending test. However, I realized on camera that these two colors look very similar. It was really a red and an orange, but on camera it looks like an orange and a slightly darker orange. But if you can tell, they actually did blend pretty well. So first impressions, I'm liking them so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what I normally do in my videos, where I try one side with the new markers that I'm testing, in this case Arteza markers, and on the other side I will color like I normally would with my Copic markers, and we're going to see the real difference. I will give you my ratings in various categories throughout the video, so stay tuned if you want to hear how I rate them and how I think they perform. Let's just get into it. So as I said, there are multiple aspects about the markers that I want to touch upon and give ratings to and bring to your awareness. I'm going to just start off with the first one, which is the price. So these markers retail for $69.99, and that's for 60 markers plus the case. So the nice thing is that they come with a free case. I don't think you can buy these markers without a case. I think the only option is to buy it with it. So it's pretty nice that it does come with a case to actually hold all your markers. If you buy something like Ohuhu or other brands, those will often have some kind of thing holding your markers, but it'll kind of just be a case where they're just all sitting all randomly around in there and there's nothing actually holding them down. So it was nice to actually have a legitimate case for the markers. The price per marker, if we divide, I'm sure the cost of the case is factored into there somewhere, but since you can't buy them without the case, I'm just going to go 70 divided by 60, which is $1.17 per marker, which is pretty nice. A Copic marker, the cheapest you can find it for normally is if you buy a Chow, and that's for $3.59. So you do get quite a bit more for your money if you're ordering the Arteza markers, because you're paying a lot less. So the next thing I want to talk about is the color range. So when I was doing her skin, I originally wanted to do a more tan color, which you might notice in my little thumbnail sketch that I included. I wanted to make her skin more tan originally. I was looking through the set here. There weren't really any tans, like no light browns, I suppose I could say. So what I ended up having to do for her skin tone was go with the peach color that was in here and the apricot color, and then just kind of mix them with some of the jasmine yellow or saffron yellow, I think it was jasmine yellow color that they had in here. So I kind of did some mixing to make a little bit darker of the skin tone that she has, but it's still pretty light. It wasn't really what I was going for. So as for the color range in general, I would give that a 3 out of 5 hearts. I'm going by hearts in here, not stars, because I think they're cuter. I'm giving them a 3 out of 5 hearts just because I felt that like I said before, there were a lot of midtones. I feel like they could have added more lighter and darker colors, or more lighter and darker shades of colors. So that's just one thing to pay attention to. However, there was still a pretty decent range within each color family. Like, the blues, there was a nice range of blues. There were lights and darks. It's just in general, for some of the colors, I felt they could have done a bit more. So, and I would especially say that was, for the browns, especially, I think they could have more of those. So overall, not bad at all. Next, I'm going to talk about the blendability. These blended pretty well. I've used some alcohol markers in the past that have trouble blending. These really didn't give me that much of an issue. Going back and forth, it was pretty smooth. You might not be able to fully tell on camera. Sometimes it's hard, but up close, these really do look pretty nice in the areas where I really tried to blend them, especially on the tail there by her waist, where I went from light to dark there. I think it went pretty smoothly. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5 hearts. And I mean, these, you have to keep in mind, these do have a bullet nib. They're not brush nibs like Copics. So for them to work very similarly to Copics is a good thing, because the brush nib really makes a difference on the Copic markers. You'll feel it if you've never used a brush nib before. The day you do, you'll notice the huge difference between that and a bullet nib on a marker. So for a bullet nib marker to blend pretty well like these do, I would say that's pretty good. So 4 out of 5 is my rating for that. Next, I want to talk about the ink quality and saturation. This I give a 5 out of 5 hearts. These are very bold and saturated colors. As you'll notice on the left versus the right, they're going to be a lot more vibrant looking. And of course, every time that happens, I normally notice that my Copic drawings or my Copic colorings, whenever I do these comparison videos, comes out a little bit more muted looking, like a lot softer. I don't know if that's just because I'm choosing softer colors on the Copic side, or because the colors overall tend to be a little more forgiving and they're not as vibrant off the bat, and that's because they can be layered more. I'm not really sure. But overall, the vibrancy and everything in the Arteza markers is very nice. The ink quality is very nice. I'm using marker paper here, my B paper, and it doesn't really leave much of that white graininess that you can see through to the paper like some markers do. Some ink does that. So these are pretty nice. I didn't really have an issue with anything about the ink quality or the saturation. And I think it made my drawing look very, very vibrant. So can't complain about that at all. Now, some other information about these is that they are not refillable. So, I mean, that's always something I look at, but not everybody seems, cares about that, because if you're just starting a collection and you just want some markers to color with and you don't really care about, long-term investment, maybe you just want something that you can start with, these would be great for that. Whereas Copic markers, I think, are more for people who are more serious about marker artwork in general and are looking for something that's more of an investment, since you can refill those and use them time and time again. So that's a big difference for me, but not everybody really cares about that. So that's a personal preference thing. Another thing is that they are not light fast, and as I've stated in previous videos, I don't believe any alcohol markers are currently light fast, or at least Copic markers are not light fast either, which means that if an art supply is not light fast, they are more likely to fade over time in direct light. So you have to kind of look into how to protect your artwork so that it doesn't fade quickly over time. So Arteza markers are not light fast either, as far as I can tell. It didn't say anything about that on the website, so I'm gonna assume it's not, because most are not. So that's not really a pro or a con, because most alcohol markers you buy will not be light fast anyway. That's just something I like to point out for people who want to know a little bit about that. And I think that's all I had to say about the markers in general. I had a really good experience using them. Like I said, the blending was great, and the color range, while I felt like it was lacking in some departments, I think overall it is a pretty solid first range of colors, especially since they only have 60 colors in their lineup. Maybe one day they will make a second set, which would be nice to see, that contains more of the colors that the first set didn't have. I mean, it's hard when you just have 60 markers in your line. It's hard to include everything. So for what the amount is in their first set of markers, I think that it's pretty good, and I would definitely recommend giving them a try, giving them a look. If you're looking to save some money, you don't want to invest in Copic markers off the bat, and you want a nice set of markers to start off with, especially one that comes with a case, that's pretty nice. So definitely check these out. And now for my final thoughts. So there's the Arteza side and there is the Copic side. You be the judge of which version you think looks better. Honestly, I think they're pretty hard to distinguish. So for the Arteza markers, I would definitely give them a thumbs up, that they are definitely a viable option for somebody who's looking for or looking to start a marker collection and wants to begin within marker art and all that, and they don't want to spend all the money on Copics. These are definitely a great option, so definitely check these out. I will have a link in the description below if you want to see where to get your own. So yes, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. Let me know which version was your favorite, the Arteza version or the Copic version of the drawing. So as always, I have all of my links in the description box below. I have a link to my online shop where you can find all of my pins, my charms, my prints, stickers, all of that, and right now for a very limited time it is all 15% off if you want to go check that out, as well as mystery bags are in the store, so go take a look at that. I also have the link to my Instagram below where you can go follow me and see all the artwork I post that I don't necessarily talk about here on the channel, and some behind the scenes things. And lastly, I have the link to my Amino below where you can join and post your artwork and join the Appleminte official. That's what the Amino is called. Post your artwork, make friends, all of that, chat, and you can even join my fan club if you'd like to support me a bit more directly and get some access to some exclusive content. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see you guys all next week, Friday at 4 p.m. as always. Thank you for watching and hope you have a beautiful day. Bye bye!